Once I make it live on FB, allow me a minute or so. It will be streaming live on my page as well, and tomorrow it will be on YouTube. Almost going live. Just need to cross check. I think we are live. Just allow me half a minute more. Yep, we're there. So let me share my screen. Sharing my screen from different ID. So friends, welcome to today's session. It is Finance Basics Part 5. And those of you who haven't attended any previous parts, all those videos are on YouTube. You can catch hold of them. I'm named some of them as, say, part 3 or 4 separately, but inside the presentation it is there. So let's begin without much ado. So all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty, who's given me much more than what I deserve. So when it comes to finance, I need to thank my dad, who has been instrumental in actually, say, making me what I am today. So this is my brief biodata. As you're aware of it, today's session is in association with the Being Dentist Foundation, who have been doing a wonderful job as COVID warriors, frontline warriors.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Dr. Jagdish, Dr. Sudhir, and all the teammates. It is their endeavor. They wanted to be a part of this session. So here they
Yes,
are along with me. Thank you, Dr. Jagdish.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So today's presentation is on basics of finance. I'll be covering all those parts which we all should be aware of, as I've been doing earlier in the previous 4 parts. So we as dentists or doctors are very busy, and we usually have, say, years of intense education, along with that, say, hands-on training and various other, if I may say, other endeavors along with that, which actually lead to us not devoting time to manage our finances. And the problem is that most of us are not sometimes interested in money as well initially. And that is actually our pitfall most of the times. We actually don't know the exact money know-how. And we really need to understand that money is an important part of life. At the end of the day, what you have in hand is what is important for all of us. And if you don't have a fundamental or a basic knowledge, you really can't be, say, doing much about it. People ask me many things related to, say, advanced level, if I may say so. Sir, इसमें invest कैसे करना है, इसमें करना है. And sometimes I seriously want to ask them, do you understand this basic part first, or do you want to invest on hearsay? So that is the thing actually we need to understand. But then for all of that, you need to first know how much you accumulate, you save or have remaining with you. And what is the, say, funda for that? The funda is that a dentist life is not easy. You have to manage so many things, and one of them is financial record keeping. And once, say, financial record keeping is in our hands, we can go about many tasks easily. Some of us use softwares for financial handling. Yes, it is very good to use practice management software if you are really, say, adept with them. But if you are not, you can use a manual system. I'll be taking a record keeping session for practice management sometime in late November or December, as a part of my, say, free Zoom session records. So I've just carried on these marathon sessions one by one, because the lockdown has ended in Punjab, and my OPD is also, say, getting used to the late timings. So even these 3 days were difficult for me. We had lockdown ended day before yesterday, and today and Monday would be difficult because Monday is going to be the last session. So actually, I was having a hard time, but then I have committed, so that is why I'm doing it till the part. So this is session number 15 today. So if you're using software for practice management, fine. But for financial record keeping, you can or not use it. But if you take my advice, I will advise against it. So if you ask me what then for record keeping, a simple Form 3C, which is a mandatory requirement as per IT language also. Simple columns: date, serial number, patient name, nature of service rendered, fees received, and date of receipt. I have a modified Form 3C, which I use in my Excel for record keeping, for financial record keeping, not the other record keeping. Uh, this is, say, whatever system of accounting you are following, this Form 3C is mandatory for the input part. And once we have a, say, knowledge of the input, then only we can, we say, or as per law also, this is mandatory to be given in that sense. So what is my modified Form 3C? Let's have a look at it. The same columns, if you look at it again: date, serial number, patient name, service, fee received, date of receipt, and again that e-receipt number or manual collating. What I do is, I allot a receipt number to every patient, the e-receipt number. But if somebody asks me that I am not comfortable with a manual, with a e-receipt, or I want a proper printed receipt, I issue a receipt to that patient. What is that receipt? I'll be sharing with you. So I issue a receipt, just manually collate that. Suppose my e-receipt number 1 is over here, and then the, say, the patient is, again, the first patient asked for that receipt. I'll mention 101 or whatever number of the manual is there. And on the manual, I will mention the e-receipt number, so that those two entries are not merged. These are one and the same entry. We'll manually collate it also. Because many times this is a question with me in workshops, that sir, manual e-records to fudge ho sakte hain. Kaise fudge ho sakte hain? Because you can erase the entries in computer wherever way you can. Wherever, if you are manually collating it at every step. For deleting that, you have to say, if some entry is at, if you make, say, at this 9 number, something of that sort is there. Sorry. Something of this sort is there at here, this point at number 9. And you have, say, issued receipt number 2 over here, manual receipt in the last column. So you have to say, delete and add and subtract all the entries before you go ahead. So this is the thing you have to be very sure of, that you can't really fudge that. But e-receipt can be similar to your manual receipt, just that it is on a printer, or you can set in your paper pad over there in your computer on a A4 page, or say lesser than A4 page size, or whatever your printer demands your sheets, or whatever way you can adjust it. For manual, what is the format of, say, record keeping? We all know, because billing system is one big pain in, you know what, for a dentist, not for a dentist, for a doctor himself. We actually don't know how to go about it. We are, say, used to seeing the bills with GST number, TIN number, and all those things. We don't know where we actually lead to. So how will you go about this task about billing? I've told you the record keeping part, but how to go about the billing part, the manual receipt part? This is the way. This is just an example or a sample format of my clinic. The top heading receipt followed by clinic name, KYC, along with the mandatory thing over here is your registration number, which is say really mandatory over here. You need to mention it over there along with your KYC, your contact, email, website if you have, dated. Very important is the serial number and the mode. And this is a small say receipt kind of a thing which is supposed to be given to every patient or the number allotted to every patient, manual or e. This is for those who say we don't trust the e-receipt, we want a printed receipt. Okay, fine. Even a e-receipt can be printed, but sometimes people don't say take those things. Many people with say old mindset don't take that. For them, I have this. I don't raise an eyebrow over there. So e-receipt parallel to the manual receipt wherever it is there, and then you can go about that task. So this is a small dan size parchi if you can see. This is that size. It is not a big size. Then comes your bill book. What exactly? Invoice, bill book, cash, whatever. This is almost an A4 sized booklet. Again, having the CS similar numbers. Top will be the same say KYC over there, and sorry, then followed by the same columns. And very important is to take say this customer signature over here, because a receipt book like this is in duplicate format, one with you and one on the carbon copy, but a bill book is usually in triplicate form. It comes with 3 copies, one for your record and one for your, and the patient has to make the signature over here uh, before you actually say tear off the bill and give it to the patient. And on this say bill book, you will not write the treatment details. You will write the various breakup of the payments. Let's suppose serial number 1, the patient's bill is, let's suppose 20,000. The patient has paid 5,000 on 4 different dates. Let's suppose uh, 1st of September, uh, 5th of September, 10th of September, and so on. 1, 5th, 10, 15. Let's suppose these 4 dates. So these are the 4 dates which are there with the say the patient, and the patient has paid 5,000. So you will mention over here one dated September 1 rupees 5,000 and so on. All those entries of 1st, 5th, 10th, and 15th, totaling 20,000 at the bottom here. So you are not supposed to write the treatment details. Just mention in the bracket over here, treatment details separately on the prescription pad. This is a bill book. This should need not have your RCT done for itne amount, restoration done for itne amount, crown done for say this amount. This is not required. This is to be done separately if you have to follow the proper system. Some people do write it, their wish, but I am telling you what I can advise you. Obviously, I'll advise you the correct method only. But then many CAs also differ in some matters. But this is the way my dad has taught me, and I'm sharing the same with you. So this is the way. And very important is that you mention E and OE at the bottom. Errors and omissions accepted. Bhool chuk maaf. This is the meaning of that. And then a place for your stamp or authorized signature. So this is just a sample format which I am using. And I hope these will come in handy. Just a minute, please. Screen has frozen for a minute or so. So this is the system you have to go by the bill book format. I've been using 2 laptops today, but again, sometimes technical glitches do happen. Sorry about that. The screen share stopped from here. I'll start from here. No worries. I have the backup today. So this was about the bill book part. And then the next question always is there with me, that whether the bill book needs to be printed again every year. I recommend a separate bill book for every financial year, and even a receipt book when the financial year ends. And financial year is from, say, sorry about that part. Allow a minute, please. The bill book actually needs to be changed every financial year, and I am not a big fan of continuing those, because the financial year is from 1st April to 31st March, and those need to be changed as per the year, as and when it comes. Then the next question usually is with me, that what about the banking part? Because I believe that banking needs to be a sector which we all need to be really aware of, and we are not aware of that part. We really forget that sometimes those things can make a big difference in our life. And then a common question is, what should I open, a savings bank account or a current account? See, it is a counter which I say that you have to go about, that you don't think of those things in that sense. It is up to your daily counter, or daily, if I can say, your daily collection, which decides that. If you are having more collection every day, which you don't want to keep in every month, you will prefer to keep a current account. Or then in other case, if not, you will prefer to keep a savings account. The only thing is that you need to keep all these things separate. The savings account transactions are not meant for personal ones, and current account are meant for business purposes only. So this is one big aspect I wish to share with you. Usually for clinics, I prefer a current account where your total collection goes in, and you thereby transfer an amount from there, which will actually help you to, say, go about the task of sharing your transactions from there, and you make a, say, transaction from there. So if your collections are more, and you need to make a deposit alternate day, then I will always prefer a savings, prefer a current account. Because otherwise most of the banks these days come with a 4 to 5 IBTs. IBT means the in branch transactions. What does that mean? That means that the patient, any customer will be able to make only, say, 4 to 5 withdrawals or deposits in the branch, and which is sometimes unlikely. We need to sometimes make more, and after that, those 4 or 5, there are transactions, or there are, transaction charges, and we need to realize that we don't need to pay those extra charges, and those are a burden for us most of the time. So this is one way. If you are not doing that, kindly shift to current account system, where you can, say, put in your all deposit, and then thereby you can transfer the amount to your savings account, and so that you can make your personal transaction. Always keep your personal and private transactions, or personal clinic transactions, or personal professional transactions separately, because those are the ones which will be the guiding ones for you. Okay. The next question usually comes is, again, the current account savings. I hope it is clear. So if high valued means that you are actually, say, having large counter, you need to make deposits. So these 4 or 5 IBTs, as I mentioned, are different from your normal NEFT or your normal ATM charges, which are separately 4 to 5 as per your, say, specialty of account, not specialty, sorry, as per your, say, type of your account. And we actually need to be aware of this thing about this part. What I do is, for example, if you have, let's suppose, a daily total monthly counter of 2 lakh rupees, your total collection is 2 lakhs, everything included. Your cash transactions, your NEFT, your check payments, put that in one place. It will be easy for you to collate or easily for you to calculate. And then once, say, those are there at the end of the month, do all your professional transactions, your payments, lab payment, assistant payment, associate payment from there only. What is the limit? I'll tell you. Okay. Then what is your cost of living? Let's suppose it is 50,000 rupees. Transfer that 50,000 rupees every, say, once, first, second, or third of the month, whatever, say, reason you believe that it is time for you to transfer, for you to make your house payments, or in another sense, do that. And once you say transfer that 50,000 to your savings account, it will actually say help you in a way that you make all your personal transactions from one savings account. It can be in the same bank, it can be in a different bank. Of course, you need to add the payee once, and then you can transfer easily. Why I'm saying so is because if you, let's suppose, buy a Domino's pizza in April 2020, and or a Book My Show, of course, lockdown was there. Let's presume it was a normal time. So you say buy a movie ticket in May 2020 in Eid, a Salman Khan movie, and you will be filing the return for that in July 2021, almost 15 months after that. Your CA will ask you, ये 236 रुपए या 1200 रुपए या 1500 रुपए की एंट्री कौन सी है? If you're not doing that yourself, even if you're doing yourself, you will forget it. So that is the thing I always advise, to keep a personal professional transaction separate. Okay, now let's come about the cash payment links. We need to understand that we can accept not more than 2 lakhs in cash from a patient for a transaction. 2 lakhs, it's not that total. Let's suppose the FMR case is there and your total bill is 4 lakhs. आप 2 लाख के 2 चेक ले लो, or sorry, 2 लाख के 2 बार कैश ले लो. It's not there. Remember, when the time comes and the patient demands a bill from you, you will not be able to justify that. You can't take more than two in cash. You have to assess first what is the patient's total bill is going to be. Then you can't lend someone or borrow from someone, or even a property payment not above 20,000 in cash. That has to be in digital mode. Then the most important, the third one, 10,000. Any clinic, any professional payment, which means that any clinic expenses will need to be less than 10,000 for cash. Even if your assistant or your associate is getting some amount of 15,000 for a surgery or for any procedure, or even your assistant is drawing higher salary, you need to pay above 10,000 in cash, or else that will not be permissible in expenses. That will not be permissible in expenses. Then for 2,000, any payments to political parties or any NGOs for donation purpose need not be more than 2,000 in cash. They can't be more than 2,000 in cash. They have to be above 2,000, has to be in digital mode. Another thing which I always want you all, the dentist, as a basic part to know, what is depreciation. In simple language, for tax purposes, it is known as a WDV, written down value. हिंदी पंजाबी में समझाऊंगा सिंपल भाषा में, तो घिसने की वैल्यू. आपने 10,000 की चीज ली, 5 साल बाद वो 10,000 की नहीं रहेगी. Supposing you want to sell it off, which is actually not possible. You know that. So we ought to realize that depreciation is also a kind of cost which is there in our expenses. And there are different slabs for that. What are those? Let's check them. There are 5%, 10%, 15%, 40 and 60. Most of the medical and the dental equipment, if mentioned otherwise, come with a written down value of 15%. Otherwise, it will be specified. Furniture and fixture comes with a value of 10%. Electrical fixture, that includes your glow signs, neo sign boards, 15%. Computer laptop used to be 60, now it is 40%. Land and building 5%, unless it reaches that value. So there are three or four formulas for say depreciation. We usually follow the second one, diminishing balance method formula in India for most of our equipment, which is the cost of an asset into the rate of depreciation over 100. This is the formula we follow actually. There can be the straight line depreciation method and the unit of product method followed in business enterprises separately. So why I am saying, because जिसने आज तक, today is 3rd October, incidentally 3rd October तक अगर आपने सामान खरीद लिया, today is the 185th day of the year. After today, there are 180 days remaining. And I'm not talking from January to December, I'm talking from the financial year part. 1st April to 31st March. Today, 3rd October, the day of the session, incidentally, is the 3rd October, is the cutoff day for the full depreciation and half depreciation. Whosoever has bought and the check payment or the NEFT payment of course realizes that day only because it is 24/7 now. The check payment has cleared off. The dentist can avail, even if you have bought a HEPA filter, UV light or whatever equipment which has been advised to you, you can actually say avail full depreciation. From people buying tomorrow or Monday onwards, they actually cannot take full depreciation, they have to take half depreciation. What I'm trying to say, just simplifying for you. Let's suppose you bought a HEPA filter for 1 lakh rupees. Of course, it won't be that, but let's presume it is that. So what exactly is the say cost which you are to bear? It is not a consumable. So you have to add a portion of cost. Remember, all your assets, all your equipments are added as a say portion of the cost. They are not added as a total cost. So that means अगर आपने 1 लाख रुपए का HEPA filter खरीदा है, तो medical equipment, as I said, let's presume 15% depreciation. तो अगर आपका पेमेंट रियलाइज हो चुका है या पेमेंट पे हो चुका है, आपके अकाउंट से डेबिट हो चुका है, you can avail 15,000 rupees of that 1 lakh in your cost, in your expenses. But if buying from tomorrow onwards, you will get only 7,500. I'm presuming a figure from 1 lakh, 15% and 7.5 from tomorrow. So this is the for depreciation clause that if less than 180 days are remaining, you put half depreciation. Even if you buy on the 31st of the March, which is actually the last day of the year, you will get 50% depreciation. So that is the beauty. Let me just simplify and give you a scenario for very common understanding, the basic understanding. Let's suppose you bought a 130 lakh RBG just before the lockdown. The dealer said, okay, doctor, you can pay in 3 installments, 50,000, 50,000 and 30,000. So how to mention in your records? Because whatever you are doing, it is not in sync with your financial year or in that sense. It is not a calendar year we are computing. So the first thing, as I said, when is your check cleared? March or April? Then how is your CA preparing your accounts? There are 2 systems, mercantile system and cash system. 90% of the CAs follows the cash system because you don't meet your CAs throughout the year. So let's presume your CA is following the cash system, the most common system which is followed. And your check is cleared in March itself. So that means you paid 50,000 in the last financial year, 1920, which ended on 31st March 2020. 50,000 if you paid, because it was after 3rd October, you will get half of depreciation. Full depreciation, 15% on 50,000 is 7,500. I presumed on 1 lakh. This is on 50,000. So it will be half of that. So the next would be in that financial year. Up for 2021, the year which is going on, what is the depreciation? On the remaining 80,000, you will get full 15% at 12,000 rupees. 15 into 80 is 12,000. Again, going by the diminishing balance method. And depreciation for the remaining period, because that amount is 46250. You have already claimed 3750 rupees. If you go back, you've already claimed 3750 in this financial year 1920 already. So that 50,000 is not 50,000 anymore. It is diminishing balance. Now its value is decreased as per the IT laws. What is the value? Its value is 46,250. So you will get 15% on 46,250. This is the breakup when you buy in different financial years. So what you get as depreciation is 18,938, 12,000 plus 6,937. We usually round it off. So this is the way. Why I'm telling you about depreciation in small amounts is because this is a way to allocate costs. You need to know. You need to know that when to buy, how to buy. These are the times which will actually which will come handy when you buy things in exponent. How will you calculate? People who are doing presumptive taxation, most of the times they are allowed 50% of the expenses. But when they are going back to conventional system, let's suppose they make a heavy investment like a microscope or a say OPG or a CBCT, whatever, if they can, then what will they do? They have an option to go back to conventional or continue with the presumptive. Then they can weigh the benefits कि इसमें मैं 50% ले रहा हूँ, मेरा इतना एक्सपेंस आ रहा है. अगर मैं कन्वेंशनल सिस्टम में जाता हूँ, डेप्रिसिएशन कैलकुलेट करता हूँ, any of the systems you follow taxation, you can go back to my earlier basics video for this. Any of the taxation system you follow, balance sheet or profit and loss account will have to be made. Those are two A4 pages which are there to be made every time. And if you allocate that, if you calculate that conventional system में मुझे ज़्यादा मिल रहा है, मेरे को मेरा expense ज़्यादा जा रहा है, profit कम आ रहा है, so that I have to pay, you pay tax on your profit only, profit minus your whatever say deductions you make. There is a figure. Let's suppose your annual figure is 24 lakhs, 2 lakhs per month. You in presumptive system you get 50% off on your expenses blindly without maintaining any books of accounts. I mentioned that in the session 3 earlier. So you are left with 24 minus 12, 12 lakhs. If you have made any investments, section 80C, which I discussed again in part 3 of the basics, you deduct that amount. Let's suppose that investment you have made is 2 lakh. So you pay tax on that 10 lakh. So similarly, if you say that my income, let's suppose, is 24 lakhs, but my expenses after adding depreciation and other things comes out to 16 lakh. That means 24 minus 16, 8 lakhs, minus your 2 lakh deductions, what you have made, you pay tax only on 6 lakhs. So this is the thing, this is the reason depreciation comes in handy, especially when you make a heavy investment. Otherwise, presumptive system is the best, undoubtedly, for all professionals like us. So you need to understand the basics of finance. That is why I'm here to tell you in brief about these. So let's look at a few terms. I've already told you a few. What is a financial year? Between April 31st and 1st April and 31st March, it is a financial year. The assessment year is also the same, 1st April to 31st March. It is following which the income is evaluated. What is the difference between the two? What income you earned in 1st April 19 to 31st March 20 this year, that was financial year 1920. You were, if the times were normal, you were supposed to file your tax or file your ITR and pay your tax in July 2020. Of course, that has been extended now to November 2020, but let's presume the normal times. So which is this year going on? 2021. So you earn in a financial year, you pay in an assessment year. This is the way you pay taxes on that. So AY comes after FY. If I'm not clear, this chart will show you. Just look at this figure. 1st April 19 to 31st March 2020. This was financial year 1920 and AY 2021. Similarly, what is going on? It is 2021 going on. The assessment for this is 21-22. Why I am mentioning this? Because income tax return or ITR forms will have a AY mentioned, not FY mentioned over them. So it is important for you to understand AY. People, I have written an article on 25 most common mistakes of filing ITR long back, I think 2 years back. So that article actually had those, one of the commonest mistake was people pick the FY instead of AY. They're not aware of this thing. Again, a part of basics only. What now IT department has done is that whenever you file online, you click the AY, it gives you a say shining kind of a startle over there and mentions This AY is for corresponding to FY this. Are you sure you want to continue? So it double checks you, it cross checks with you. Because on ITR page or on ITR form while filing the taxes also, you have to select AY and not FY. In Hindi, financial year is called as Vittiya Varsh and assessment year is called as the Nirdharan Varsh. So next is the ITR forms. I've discussed this. Let me discuss it before. अब ITR 1 और 2 रहेंगे सैलरीड के लिए, ITR 3, 4 रहेंगे प्रोफेशनल के लिए. There will be 5, 6 and 7 are for companies or say limited liability partnerships or association of persons or say BOIs. So these are for firms and factories and not for individuals like us. For individuals, ITR 1 to ITR 4. ITR 1 is known as Sahaj, ITR 4 is known as Sugam. These were the two simplest forms. Of course, ITR 4 is now the simplest of all the forms. So what exactly is this? There might be people amongst you who are doing dual thing. Dual thing in the sense that you are working in a hospital or a college in the morning and running a practice in the evening. So for you, ITR 3 will be the form to go about. So what is the broad difference? ITR 1 applies to people who are having an annual income less than 50 lakhs, annual salary less than 50 lakhs, one house, other sources. In ITR 2, everything from ITR 1, but above 50 lakhs, capital gains are as a partner firm, only salary income. 1 and 2 will have only salary income. Now for the, say, professionals like us, self-employed, most of us, those who are working in college and the, say, college or having a self income from running from the clinic as well, ITR 3 is for them, which is known as the conventional way also. Or those who are actually having say capital gains, those who are running only clinic but doing regular trading and having regular capital gains from mutual fund shares, they'll also file ITR 3. For presumptive income, ITR 4. ITR 4 is the simplest one if you're not having any capital gains or any agricultural income. For say self-employed professionals like us who are running only clinic. So this is again a form, a simplified form. So the same applies on 1920 as well. ITR 1, salary pension less than 50 lakhs. ITR 2, greater than 50 lakhs. So ITR 3 is every income from ITR 2 and business profession. ITR 4 again presumptive income. 5, 6 and 7 I told you for companies, not for individuals. So who can file ITR 1? These are the various things. Up to rupees 5,000 agricultural income, income from other sources, income from salary, income from one house property. So next basics introduction is about form 15G and 15H. 15G and 15H, let's suppose some of you are beginners who have started their clinic newly and you feel that your annual income is not that much that you need to pay tax. But आपकी बैंक में FD चल रही है. The bank has deducted a say TDS over it or likely to deduct TDS over it. You want to make a claim that आपकी सारी income मिला के, your interest income from the bank FD or your savings account interest and income from your clinic. Let's suppose आपने late start किया, आपको इस साल में 4 महीने मिले. Maybe you started in let's suppose December. Again, COVID times is counted. I'm talking about the normal times. आपके 4 महीने मिले, आपकी income इतनी नहीं हुई 2.5 लाख. Anyone having 2.5 lakhs gross income, above 2.5 lakhs is supposed to file ITR. That is a written bottom line. And 2.5 lakhs means 20,000, 21,000 per month. Obviously, we all have it. But again, this is for the newbies. Or some people even, they're not settled even after first year. They're having low incomes. Or maybe they started clinic in January, but COVID-19 happened and they are stuck in that. So for them, they are having an alternate source of income in the form of FD or any other bank interest or any other bank return. So for you, 15G is the solution. Go to bank and they get the 15G signed from you in triplicate form. Again, one goes to the bank HO, the one goes to IT department, and the one the branch keeps with itself. These are valid for 1 year. The difference between 15G and 15H is that 15G is for 18 to 60 years. Above 60 years, senior citizens have to file 15H. Both are the same. That is a form whereby you make a say claim to the bank that आपकी income taxable नहीं है. Believe me, ये आपकी entry आपकी कुंडली में डल जाएगी. आपकी कुंडली क्या है, I'll come to that. So if you are not, say if you are trying to cheat or trying to be smart, remember you will be caught. These days, all the things are interlinked. The only condition for 15G is that you need to have a PAN number. Because PAN number होएगा तभी कुंडली में entry होएगी. So as I mentioned, 15H is for senior citizens, 60 years plus, 15G is for 18 to 60. So some banks allow it through their website also. कई बार क्या होता है, अगेन कोविड टाइम डिस्काउंटेड, बैंक का इंटरेस्ट जो होता है वो क्वार्टरली कटता है, इवन टीडीएस. सपोज अप्रैल टू जून का आपका जून के लास्ट वीक में कट जाएगा, कई बार जुलाई के फर्स्ट और सेकंड को कटेगा. वैल्यू डेटिंग 30 जून की डाल देंगे मैक्सिमम. एक बार बैंक ने काट लिया, वो आपको रिफंड नहीं कर सकता इफ यू फॉरगॉट टू सबमिट फॉर्म 15G, because bank has a liability to deposit that by the next of by the 7th of July. By the next 7th, they deposit it with the income tax department, the TDS deducted, and the same entry is made in your PAN and your 26AS. What is that? I'll tell you. So if the bank has deducted one interest on 30th June, you can still give a 15G so that the next interest is not deducted on 30th September. This can be true for many other as well. Now let's come to another basic part, the PAN number. Believe me, day before yesterday, I got a message from one of the colleagues who was 2.5 to 3 years into practice. He said, sir, मैं ITR return file करता हूँ. Okay. तो मैंने कहा आपने 26AS है, आप देखते हैं उसके साथ. सर वो कैसे देखते हैं? आई टोल्ड हिम इन ब्रीफ अबाउट इट. मैंने कहा पैन से लॉगिन करो. सर पैन तो मेरे पास है नहीं. तो मैं कहा फिर आप झूठ क्यों बोल रहे हो? सर मैंने नहीं झूठ बोला, आपने बोला मैंने आईटी रिटर्न फाइल की. हाँ जी सर मैंने की, बिना पैन के फाइल कर दी. सर मेरे सीए ने बोला हो गई. Either he is lying or his CA is lying, one of them. Without PAN number, you can't file a ITR. Without PAN number, you can't actually go about checking your Janam Kundali as well. So let me tell you a few basics about PAN. The first thing is it is a alphanumeric, 5 digits, 5 alphabets, then 4 digits and 1 alphabet again. These signify different thing, but that has none to do. There is a reason for specifying that ABCD or separately, but there is no reason for you to go about that task. But then it is one of the most important documents for any Indian citizen. It is an identity proof as well, and not only used for tax purposes. It is a big proof which you all need to go about, or you need to have it. As I mentioned, it is a 10-digit alphanumeric number and a laminated card issued by the income tax department. The good thing is in today's times when everything is going digital, India is going digital, you can apply for the PAN in both online and offline method. Online method can be on the portal of NSDL, National Securities Depositories Limited, or UTITSL, similar government site where you can apply. These are the links. So what are the steps to apply for PAN card online? Just let me tell you briefly about it. Step 1, go to the site onlineservices.nsdl.com. Again, then a page will open where you have to select new PAN for Indian citizen, form 49A. If you are a foreign national, you have to select, obviously you are not, but 49AA. Then select the category of PAN you need, personal details, name, date of birth, mobile number, enter the CAPTCHA code and submit. Once you click the submit button, a token number is generated for you. And that is the, if you have a break in connection, that'll be the one which will help you to say re-login or do that. And then once you log in with that token number, it will show you 3 options: eKYC, e-sign, or a scanned image through e-sign, or forward your application documents physically. So most preferably we prefer the e-sign. After selecting the option, Aadhaar card, your parent's name, you have to click next, and your KYC again next. Then in the next step, you have to mention your area code or your AO type, range code and AO number. That you can take from your parents' IT return, because this is usually applicable as per the junction wise, as per the area allotted, or you can check for your AO on the income tax department website as well. So select the documents for your proof of age or residence, and then click submit. Once your documents are uploaded, you can choose any of the online payment methods. You have to pay. It is not free for you. So it can be credit card, debit card, demand draft, or net banking, wherever you can. Once it is done, you have to send the supporting documents, say in physical form as well, sometimes to the NSDL as well. So then once your documents are received, the application is processed. And what are the charges? The charges for say PAN are 93 rupees, plus GST would be 114 rupees. And for foreign nationals, for foreign communication is 864 rupees. You can make fresh allotment for PAN on say online, and even for your changes or correction in PAN, which was not there earlier, now it is allowed requesting, or maybe you request for reprint of PAN card, you can make through internet application. So once you have made the Aadhaar authentication process, you can e-sign or physically send the documents, whatever way you can. You will receive an acknowledgement mail from them. And once it is done, usually a PAN is sent within 10 to 15 days to your designated residential address, which you have mentioned over there. Now, in today's times, e-PAN is also issued instantly in less than 10 minutes. There is no waiting time. You can get your PAN instantly as well. This is the income tax government website where you can actually say paperless process, get your PAN within 10 minutes. It is the same value as a physical PAN card. Only thing you need is your Aadhaar card and your linked mobile number with that. आधार पैन लिंकिंग वैसे भी हो चुकी है सबकी, कोई माने ना माने, नए पैन वालों की ऑटोमेटिकली एट द टाइम ऑफ स्टार्टिंग ही हो रही है. So this is the way, this is the income tax e-filing website. I'll be telling you before in detail about it. So once you have PAN, you can log in onto the e-filing website. ये आपका पहला स्टेप है आपके अपने बारे में जानने के लिए, आपके जो आप स्पेंड पैटर्न्स करते हैं, इन्वेस्टमेंट्स करते हैं, ऑल दोज थिंग्स, जो भी आपकी कह लो डिटेल ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज देयर ऑन योर अल्टरनेट जन्म कुंडली, एंड आई एडवाइज टू कीप चेकिंग इट एवरी वीक. बिकॉज जब भी आप ITR फाइल करेंगे, सबसे पहली चीज, अगर आपके CA ने फाइल की है तो वो भी 26 AS देखेगा. आपका AO है, असेसिंग ऑफिसर ऑफ योर इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट, वो भी आपका 26 AS देखेगा. वहां पे कोई शक की एंट्री होएगी तो आपको you will be in a soup. You will be, then he will further scrutinize it. If the 26 AS is clear, and 26 AS तभी clear होगा अगर आप white में काम करेंगे. And 26 AS has also undergone change in this financial year, in the COVID times as well. So this is the Income Tax India e-filing.gov.in. This is the website. If you are new to e-filing, you can use your registered login, or you can say sign in using your PAN number. You need a OTP which will come on your registered mobile number. If you are registered already, you can log in with your PAN. So this will be your say route to knowing more about you. हम लोग सोचते हैं कि किसको क्या पता लगेगा, इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट को इसी से सब कुछ पता लगता है. Now I come to alternate Janam Kundali. What it is? This is the name again coined by me only. मैं ये बोलता हूँ एक जन्म कुंडली आपके पंडित जी ने आपके पैदा होने पे बनाई थी, एक आपके इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट वाले बनाते हैं. This is known as Form 26 AS. This is the most important information after your PAN. And trust me, 90% of the dentists don't know about 26 AS. Trust me. It is a fact. It shows आपका कितना टैक्स गया है, कितना TDS काटा है, कितना रिफंड मिला है. You have to understand that. And this again, income tax e-filing से कर सकते हैं, Traces website से कर सकते हैं. This will have all the things. What all does it have? I'll show you a pictorial, say go by go. From A to G, it has various columns. What does it contain? Details of your tax deducted. अगर आप सैलरीड हैं तो आपके कोई अगर TDS कटा है एम्प्लॉयर से तो tax collected by your collectors, any advance tax paid by you, the self-assessment tax which you pay before filing your return, any regular assessment tax, any which has been say notified by the AO कि आपने tax कम दिया तो आप RAT जमा करवाइए. Then any details of refund by you और एनी हाई वैल्यू ट्रांजेक्शन आपने चुपचाप ट्रांजेक्शन चाहे डिजिटल मोड में करी, those are also notified. So this is the Traces website, TDS reconciliation and correction enabling system. इस पे 26AS available होता है. Again, this will also have assessment year and view as HTML or a PDF or any other way you can say. So as I said, it contains part A to part G. Part A contains A again has two parts, A1 and A2. A1 has details of 15G, 15H. I already mentioned about it. जो आपने फॉर्म सबमिट किया है उसकी एक कॉपी यहाँ पे दब जाएगी. इस बैंक में 15G दिया गया है. यू ट्राई टू प्ले स्मार्ट. आपकी ITR 5 लाख की जा रही है, उधर आपने बैंक को 15G दे दिया, हो गया ना मिसमैच. 15G इज सपोज टू बी फॉर दोज जिनकी इनकम 2.5 लाख से कम है. आपकी इनकम दिखा रहे हैं 4 लाख कुछ हजार, मे बी लेट्स सपोज लेस देन 5 लाख नील टैक्स के लिए, लेकिन इधर आपने 15G दे दिया कि आप 15G इज फॉर टिल योर टैक्सेबल लिमिट 2.5 लाख. सो देन गड़बड़ हो गई ना. यहां से वो चोरी ढूंढते हैं इनकम टैक्स वाले. देन एनी प्रॉपर्टी इफ यू सेल above 50 lakhs you have to pay TDS and that is deducted by the seller and he sorry the buyer, he deducts it and deposits it with the department. Then any details of tax collected, any details of tax paid other than TDS or TCS is, then these your any refund, then details of AIR transaction. So AIR means annualized information return, or now it is specified financial transactions. It basically means the high value transactions. Then your details of tax deducted on for the buyer of the property. Part A2 was for the seller, part F is for the buyer, then part G TDS defaults. तो इसीलिए तो प्रॉपर्टीज भी मंदे में आ गई है ना. 50 लाख से ऊपर करोगे, इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न आप 5 लाख की दिखा रहे हो, तो how will you justify that sometimes? So these are the ways the income tax department actually finds it. अब मैं आपको सारे sections दिखाता हूँ one by one in a different format. Part A, say it contains all your say tax deductions. 10,333 if you can see at the top, 1,033 10% पे deduct होता है. Usually TDS is deducted at 10%. Obviously you have a PAN, that is why you are say visualizing this return. अगर पैन नहीं है तो 20% पे डिडक्ट होगा, और 20% पे डिडक्ट होगा, 26AS में एंट्री भी नहीं होगी. सो आप 20% टैक्स भी दे रहे हैं, उसको क्लेम भी नहीं कर सकते. सो अगर पैन छुपा के रखा बैंक से तो उसको बैंक में जमा करा दिया. ऑफ कोर्स इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टुडेज टाइम्स. 5 साल 4 साल पहले मैं लेक्चर देता था इस टॉपिक पे, तो आई यूज्ड टू टेल पीपल की अपनी पैन और पैन ना लिंक कराइए जहाँ पे आपने फॉर्म 60 दिया हुआ है 60. दिस इज इन से ल्यू ऑफ पैन. go about that task or say go about depositing that. So this is the way to go about. Then part A1 15G, which is the say amount paid or credited or tax deducted by the bank, 15G 15H as I mentioned. Then part A2 for the seller of the property, any TDS deducted. Part B, any tax collected at the source, tax paid by you. Part C, part D are the details of paid refund. Just example assessment year, mode, amount of refund, interest, and this is the way you can get your refund as well. Then SFT or AIR transaction. 3 लाख के म्यूचुअल फंड खरीदे, these have been reported. These have been reported. Even the mode of payment was check. How do people arrive at this thing? आपने 5 लाख से कम की इनकम दिखाई, आप मतलब लेट्स सपोज 5 लाख की पूरी दिखाई आपने. आपका लिविंग एक्सपेंस कितना है? लेट्स सपोज फॉर एवरीवन इट इज मिनिमम 30 to 35 to 40,000. Even if it is 40,000, 4,80,000 is the one limit. Is the amount from where if 4,80,000 is your expense, तो आपने ये 3 लाख कहाँ से दे दिया? Everybody knows, even the income tax department knows. अगर आप 5 लाख इनकम दिखा रहे हैं तो आपकी कॉस्ट ऑफ लिविंग कुछ तो होगी. अगर आप सिंगल सोर्स अर्निंग है तो यहाँ से वो लिंक ढूंढते हैं. तो 3 लाख इस बंदे ने कहाँ से इन्वेस्ट कर लिया? इसके पास तो बचा ही कुछ नहीं. एंड पीपल फील प्राउड इन सेइंग कि हमने, पीपल हु पे जीरो टैक्स आर एक्चुअली डिगिंग अ ग्रेव फॉर देमसेल्व्स. I have actually detailed about this a lot many times in my wealth creation chapter, that paying tax is not harmful at all. So this is the way actually income tax department gets to know about your transactions. Then Part G for the buyer of the property, Part F, sorry, uh, Part G for TDS processing, any other kind of defaults or any say any statements which are other than that. So income tax e-filing, as I showed you, this is the site where you need to actually log in and view this. User ID is your PAN, password, whatever you have set. Of course, again, that has to be alphanumeric. Your date of birth has to be entered to avoid any mismatch. Obviously, two PAN numbers can't be issued to same PAN numbers can't be issued to different individuals, but still date of birth is cross-linked in the format and the CAPTCHA code, and you can log in. Once you log in, you get into the dashboard. Just click the option adjoining the dashboard, My Account, and you will reach View Form 26AS in the drop-down menu. Once you click on Form 26AS, click Confirm, and you will be, say, redirected to the Traces website. Don't worry, it is a safe site. It is by the Government of India, so it is not unsafe. As I showed you, just you have to click I agree to the acceptance of form for the usage of traces, proceed, and you arrive at your 26AS. That is the reason I advise all of you to keep checking your 26AS, especially if you indulge in a lot of transactions. 26AS has also undergone a lot many changes, which will be visible from this month onwards, or in some PAN numbers they have already been visible, but in some they'll be visible from this month onwards. So again, my presentation, if I take separately, maybe next time on 26AS, this will also undergo a change because there has been some changes made in that. And if you want to download, the verification code has been done away with on this page. You can download as HTML or sorry, view it as HTML or download it as a PDF. And you say will get your 26AS to view what exactly is going on with your financial transactions. So coming to the end of today's presentation, while sticking to time, so be financially literate. Start with the basics. That is why I have been doing that. Once you are done, slowly build on that, and always remember, पौड़ी चढ़ने के लिए स्टेप 1 से ही स्टेप 10 पे जाएंगे. सीधा आप सोचिए मैं कहाँ पे इन्वेस्ट कर दूं. इन्वेस्ट करने से पहले सोर्स होना चाहिए. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट. सोर्स ही नहीं होगा. रिटर्न आप 5 लाख की दिखा रहे हैं, इन्वेस्ट आप 3 लाख करना चाह रहे हैं, कहाँ से आप कर लेंगे? आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. सो उसके लिए आपको रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग चाहिए. रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग में आपको सारी इनकम डालनी पड़ेगी. सारी इनकम डालेंगे तभी आप एक्सपेंसेस डाल के तभी अपना प्रॉफिट ज्यादा दिखाएंगे जिस पे आप टैक्स देंगे, और टैक्स जिस पे देंगे उसी में से इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. यू कांट मेक एनी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स इन ब्लैक. You have to do, every investment is KYC compliant these days. So learn the basics of finance first before going on to learn the basics of financial markets. Equity market, stock market, investment, say mutual funds, returns, all those things are secondary things. पहले basics जरूरी है for every one of us. अगर ये छोटे छोटे basics नहीं पता है तो what will you do? Thank God for lockdown. It's not always been bad. इतना कुछ introspection को मिला. Who had this much free time? मेरे पास भी इतना फ्री टाइम नहीं होता था पहले. मैं इतने वेबिनार्स ले रहा हूँ, इतने आर्टिकल्स लिखे मैंने, इतनी बुक्स लिखी हैं लॉकडाउन में मैंने. All this done in the past 6 months. Of course, clinic also resumed from July onwards and picked up almost say 70 to 80% of the steam from August onwards, and September again 75 to 80% of the normal. And with October the timings being changed, we expect to go beyond 100% of the normal. So only if you realize that what effort I am making for all of you, free of cost. The only problem is that these things are free of cost. That is why they're not being that much valued. Again, it is a personal choice. It's not my decision. Again, Rajat also mentioned in the group yesterday, it is a personal choice about all of you. What do you want to do? If you don't want to do, मैं तो अपना काम करके बोल के चले जाऊंगा. मेरे को कुछ नहीं है, मैं YouTube पे डाल दूंगा. जो आज नहीं देख सकते वो YouTube वीडियो पे कहीं नहीं देख सकते. Yes, exceptions will be there. But believe me, 95% will procrastinate. कल देखूंगा, वो कल कभी नहीं आता. वो कल के बारे में जो आपने कल सोचा था कि मैं कल करूंगा, वो कल आज है. Why not today? So if you want to take, there is a lot of literature available from me. All those articles, videos, if you want to read, if you want to watch, there are more than 130 videos. Of course, some of them are in triplicate form in SD or SD version, but still there are close to say 75, 80 videos, even if I remove the duplicate parts. So an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And the below figure of the books really signifies me. I've read so many books, and I want you all to develop this habit of reading, learning. Invest in knowledge, it will pay back. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. Before I wind up my presentation and stop my share, uh, let me make a few announcements because this is being streamed on page, and there are many members on my FB page who are not my WhatsApp group members. So guys, I run a channel by my name only, youtube.com/c/Dr. Bhavdeep. All my social media presence is by my name without any space underscore Dr. Bhavdeep. So if you forget my name, go to YouTube and search Dr. Bhavdeep Ahuja, you'll get to my channel. Hit the bell icon and subscribe to the channel. You'll be getting a lot of videos. Believe me, you'll be soon seeing short videos of 4 to 6 minutes in coming a few days. I'll not be off the radar totally. I'll be off from the webinars after Monday, but I'll be on the radar doing my bit, whatever I can. So this is my social media presence again by my name, Dr. Bhavdeep, Facebook, Insta, Twitter. Wherever you want to follow, you can do that. And this is my email website. Get in touch with me. This is my mobile number as well. So those who are fond of reading, uh, you can actually say read a lot. I have been writing a quarterly series for Idea Punjab Journal and for WJSR, and part 16 has been published in April 20. Very soon, 6 parts will be coming next week. So all of them are available on my website. So you can visit my website for that, finance.html. And those of you who are not part of my WhatsApp group, I'm running free WhatsApp groups. And if you want to join them, just send me a message. I intended to keep it at 5, but I am now running the 6th temporary one because people keep on leaving. So I add people from temporary group to the main group whenever it is suitable. So run a paid group as well. The proceeds of which go to my NGO, CFC, Can Fight Cancer. It is for the annual payment of 3,500. And I suppose it is for this year only. From next year, I'll be discontinuing the paid group for sure. Uh, so the last session of season 1, the OTT effect is on me as well. Last session of season 1 before Diwali is on Monday, 4th of October, evening, same time. Feedback and its role in communication. And I'm sure I'll be sharing very interesting aspects. Those of you are willing to join for the last session, please feel free to do so. I'll be sharing the link in the group. So please send me your valuable feedback on my number or in the WhatsApp group, wherever you are. Bookies and brickbats both would be welcome in equal measure. Thank you once again, and I stop my share for say questions from all of you. Let me just look at the chat box first. Dr. Raghu Ganesh asks, is it true that I have used presumptive calculation? I cannot reverse back to other types for at least 3 financial years. Dr. Raghu, this section presumptive is 44 ADA. It has been say taken up by late finance minister late Mr. Arun Jaitley from 44 AD, which was for traders. The traders have this obligation that if they log in into it, they cannot actually say go out of this presumptive for 3 years. But 44 ADA, there is no such compulsion. I mentioned it very clearly when I was mentioning for depreciation. Let's suppose you're going the normal way, but if you have made a heavy investment in this year for bigger things like CBCT, OPG, or any microscope, you can actually say shift back to your system of conventional way where you can claim higher expenses and lower profit. If you want to do that, so you can do that. So like, is there a time period for preserving patient's record for 3 years or till a minor turns 18 years? For how much time should the bill books preserve? For people following the conventional system, not the presumptive system. For conventional system, the records are to be maintained for 6 years from the last ITR filed, and in add the current year, so roughly meaning 7 years. For presumptive taxation, you don't need to maintain any bill, any books of accounts or any expenses bill. The only thing needed for presumptive taxation is the Form 3C, which I shared at the start. Only the source of input is required. No else source is required to be shared with the IT department if need be. Any more queries? You can unmute yourself. I've changed the setting. You can unmute yourself and ask. Dr. Madhavi Hello, sir. I'm not working since last 6 months. Am I liable to pay tax for this year? I'm practicing since last 6 years. Ma'am, this is a problem with almost everyone. Almost every one of us didn't work full throttle for 3 to 4 months, especially the self-employed ones. It does not depend upon how much time you're working. It depends upon the amount. If your annual proceeds or the gross income say exceeds 2.5, you're supposed to file your ITR, even though you might not be liable for any tax. Remember that it is not about the tax, it is about the say amount which you gross in whatever remaining part. Maybe you are not working from April to September, let's suppose, but you're working from October to March, and you have a windfall of income. And if windfall of income means, let's suppose you are earning 50,000 or 60,000 every month, roughly, let's suppose. So your average income would be around 3 or 3.5 lakhs gross. So that means you have to file the ITR. So even if it is a no tax, you will still have to file the ITR. I don't advise going against that, because anybody would be having more than 2.5 lakhs income, even if they were not working for the first 3 months or so. Any more queries, please?
हेलो, थैंक यू सर। डॉक्टर जगदीश बात कर रहा हूँ।
जी डॉक्टर जगदीश बोलिए।
सर मुझे ये पूछना था कि अभी जो यंग डेंटिस्ट है वो इस बार दो मतलब 2 टाइम्स आईटीआर भर सकते हैं क्या? मतलब पहले जो ऐसा था कि आईटीआर लास्ट मतलब पिछला आईटीआर भी आप भर सकते थे।
पिछले आईटीआर की डेट एक्सटेंड करी थी इन्होंने, जो आपका 1920 था, सॉरी 1819 था, उसकी डेट एक्सटेंड कर दी थी गवर्नमेंट ने। इट हैज बीन एक्सटेंडेड नाउ, आई थिंक टिल 30 नवंबर ओनली। इट वाज टिल 30 सितंबर, but I think it has been extended. I'm not really sure about that part, but that is for 1819 financial year. For the 1920, with the year which ended on 31st March 2020, we are supposed to file those ITR by 30th November. Maybe वो भी जाके शायद नवंबर में extend कर दें एक आधा महीना, but I don't think so. They already extended it by 4 months from July to November. I'm not really sure whether they'll be extending or that or not.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dr. Himani, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, when we start giving e-receipts, how to correlate to manual receipts? I mean, if a patient wants e-receipt only, say number 105, then what to do manual receipt number 105? Ma'am, you didn't get my point exactly. What I meant to ask was that suppose your first 4 patients were happy with the e-receipt number only, or they were happy with the printout. They didn't want the, let's suppose the 5th patient says, I want the manual receipt, that the small bill book I showed. So obviously that will be your first receipt. So what you will do, you will issue 101 manual receipt to that guy and make a manual collating entry. 105 corresponds to 105 e-receipt corresponds to manual 101. And similarly on your duplicate of that, the carbon is there for the, I said it is in duplicate form, the small manual receipt. You'll mention e-receipt number 105. E-receipts are to be allotted to everyone. Manual separately for the patient's mental comfort, but making a collating of the entry so that you don't confuse it. And जैसे मैंने आपको वो चार्ट दिखाया मैनुअल कोलेटिंग, कंप्यूटर में तो आपने एंट्री कर ली, 105 के आगे 101 डाल लिया आपने, 101 M डाल दो मैनुअल के लिए, obviously that column is M only, 101 डाल दिया, but make a note on that e-receipt on your manual receipt so that it is clear to the patient as well, e-receipt number 105. That will make sure that you can't fudge your records as well in the later part. And does not mean कि आपने जितनी ई काटी उतनी मैनुअल काटनी है. कोलेटिंग का मतलब ही है कि 105 शायद 105 के बाद आपसे 115 वाला पेशेंट मांगे, शायद 115 वाला 102 नंबर हो. Again make a entry corresponding. It is for your ease of mind, peace of mind. It is for ease of simplification or that sort. It is not कि जितनी आपने, वरना तो वही फिर अगर मैनुअली काटनी फिर ई का क्या फायदा. Why I am telling you to do E way is because E is accepted, number 1. Number 2, शाम को बैठ के आप सारे पेशेंट्स की रसीदें काट रहे हो. Isn't it a tedious job? Isn't it a more time consuming job? When you are allowed a digital way in the form of Form 3C, why not avail it? Why not? Why do you want to complicate your life? I am telling you things for the simplification or ease of simplification for that reason. So go about that task. There is no software for e-receipt. It's a simple PDF, Form 3C. Just Google it. It is just what I showed you is a form of a single page only. You can make those columns in your Excel file, in your normal PC, normal Microsoft Office, नॉर्मल वर्ड फाइल में कॉलम बना लीजिए. नहीं एक्सेल है तो टेबल ही बनाना है, बनाते जाइए. एक्सेल में थोड़ा इजी होता है. इट्स नॉट वे टू दोनों चीजें नहीं कर, दोनों चीजें करनी फिर तो मैनुअली कर लो सिर्फ. वाई टू डू ई सिस्टम. दिस इज टू सिंप्लीफाई. कई पेशेंट्स शक्की होते हैं मेंटली, हमारे को रसीद चाहिए चाहिए, उनके लिए है दिस इज दिस सिस्टम. इट इज नॉट फॉर एवरीवन. सो हो सकता है एट द एंड ऑफ द मंथ यू हैव इशूड लेट सपोज 100 रिसीप्ट्स, शायद मैनुअल उसमें 5 हो आपकी. यू से सेव टाइम फॉर से 95 रिसीप्ट्स आपने कम काटी, टाइम तो बचा, चाहे आपने नहीं काटा. गलती जितना हम टाइम स्पेंड करेंगे उतनी मिस्टेक भी करेंगे ऐसी चीज में. ई में करेक्शन इजी है, मैनुअल में करेक्शन कटिंग हो जाती है, देन वो डाउट आ जाता है कटिंग किया कुछ चेंज किया होगा पक्का. इट इज ऑल इन द माइंड. यू डोंट नीड एनी सॉफ्टवेयर. नॉर्मल पीडीएफ फाइल जस्ट कॉलम एक्सेल में बना लीजिए. कॉलम्स आपको मैंने दिखा दिए, नेट पे भी आप सर्च करेंगे पीडीएफ फॉर्म 3C, सेम कॉलम मिलेंगे आपको. जस्ट ऐड 2 or 3 columns as I mentioned. If you go through the presentation again, you will find those columns again. So Dr. Raghu asks, is there a chance to share my income with my wife as she is a dentist working with me in my clinic? See, उसके लिए फिर आपको ITR 5 भरनी पड़ेगी, LLP या AOP करके, लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप फर्म बना के अपने में. I don't advise that. Again, what is this session all about? This session basics is about simplifying your life. So if I am going to complicate you, it's no benefit. So what I'll advise is one of you is the proprietor and the other becomes your employee or your associate in your practice. The one you pay salary to. Obviously किसी के नाम पे तो clinic होगा ना. Who is the owner of that clinic? He'll be the one in charge and the other gets the salary out of it. That is a better system to do even with a presumptive one or even in a conventional one. No harm in that. But rather than going for the complicated one, because ITR 3 to 4, 3 is still slightly complicated, but ITR 4 is the simplest one. ITR 5 is a difficult one. You surely need a CA for that. But for normal ITR 1, 2 or 4, you won't need a CA. Obviously 1 and 2 are not applicable to the self-employed ones. If you have a clinic, automatically only ITR 3 or ITR 4 is applicable to you. So you think about one of you is a proprietor and the other works as an employee or associate in your practice. HUF is Hindu undivided family, ma'am. I'll be taking that in the basics part 6. Again, a long topic. I'll be taking some detail on it because if I try to finish it in one line, that will be an injustice to the topic. Don't worry, I'll be taking up in the finance session 6 part. To just tell you in brief about it, HUF is basically Hindu undivided family, which is applicable to Buddhists, monks, Sikhs, all those can apply, and in which the leader of the family, the head of the family, unfortunately, it is a biased one. The male is the, say, leader of the family known as the Karta, and all the other becomes the equal shareholders of the property, whatever you have. And this is HUF, say, becomes a separate identity. Let's suppose there are 4 adult members above 18 in the family. HUF becomes separate entry. And अगर आप rebate ले रहे हैं या deductions ले रहे हैं 4 के लिए, with HUF you can claim for 5 technically. So you get benefit for that also. HUF has its own PAN number and HUF files return on the behalf of its members as well. So unfortunately, if the Karta or the head of the family dies, the, say, the HUF is dissolved and the share is equally distributed among its members. This is not very, say, common in North India, since a lot of 498A or Dowry cases are there, and unfortunately, or say wrong to say, but girls are really high-headed here over there, and that is the reason people detest from making a HUF in North India. But yes, it is very common in Maharashtra, and the only one instance has been there where a lady has been the Karta of this, and that too by a High Court ruling. So Delhi High Court, it was in 2014 when a lady became the head, and even then there has not been any amendment made in the amendment made in the HUF part. So still that, but still I'll detail about it in the basics part 6. That is a say wonderful addition to that. Don't worry. I hope you get some idea at least about the basic thing. Any more queries, please? Or anyone wants to share anything? Anyone wants to share, say anything? You can say. You can unmute yourself and ask or say share your
Sir,
words.
what is the scope of group practice in current situation?
Group
Group
practice.
practices.
Group practice in what sense? In IT language or otherwise?
नहीं, ग्रुप प्रैक्टिस एंड जस्ट लाइक 10-12 डेंटिस्ट मिलके कुछ करना चाहते हैं.
फिर वही आपको एक एसोसिएशन ऑफ पर्संस बनानी पड़ेगी, पार्टनरशिप फर्म बनानी पड़ेगी कोई ना कोई, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन योर ईच शेयर इन दैट. You can't
Okay.
actually say go about an individual task over there. Taxation का system change हो जाएगा ना उसमें. Again, that will be a complex part.
Okay.
Anyone wants to ask anything, or we call it a day? Okay, please do post your feedback in the group, and see you on Monday for the last session of season 1. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate taking out time on a Saturday evening when lockdown has ended and the dance parties are on. So thank you so much. See you all soon in 48 hours. Thank you. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.